So this will be our introduction to our subject precalculus. We will begin by reviewing the concept of straight line. I believe that this topic is very relevant and very important because some of the conic sections, the first topic that you will really encounter in precalculus, have something to do with straight line, and the topic is also connected to straight line. Let's say, for example, in parabola, let's say you create a line that will connect the focus of the parabola and the vertex of the parabola. Let's say, for example, and then the straight line formed by latus rectum, the two endpoints of latus rectum. So let's begin now with our review of straight line. We form a line by connecting 2 points. So we can only form a straight line by connecting 2 points. So let's say we have one point on the left and another point on the right, and then you connect it, and then you will form a straight line. Next, let's say we have on a Cartesian plane, we have 2 points, point 1, which has a coordinates -4 and -1, and point 2 with coordinates 1 and 3. Now, P1, our first point, represent its coordinates represent the x1 and y1. So, ibig sabihin na to, yung point 1 natin, yung -4 and -1 na coordinates niya, yun yung x1 at y1 natin. Kasi nga, yun ay first point. Now, our second point, P2, that means yung coordinate niya na 1, 3 will be our x2 and y2. And then, we also have what we call the slope, which is the steepness of the line, wherein in this diagram, in our example, we have the line from left to right. The line is increasing or pataas. So that means our slope is positive. Now, if the graph or the line is declining, going down from left to right, so the slope will be negative or decreasing. Now, when it comes to let's say let's have an example again. We have 2 points, point 1 and point 2. Point 1 with -4 and -1, and point 2, 1 and 3, and then we will get the slope. Our slope, denoted by small letter m, is equal to y2 minus y1 all over x squared minus x1. So, yung mga nakikita ninyo ng mga variables dito, x1, x2, y1, y2, all of these are the yung mga values ng x1, x2, y1, y2 doon sa mga coordinates natin ng point 1 and point 2. So, all we have to do to get the slope of our line is simply substitute the values. So, you have y2 minus y1, so that will become 3 minus -1 all over x2 minus x1. So our x2 is 1 minus x1, which is -4, and then by simplifying it, we will arrive at the answer m, or the slope, is equal to 4 over 5. So the value of our slope m, 4 over 5, is positive, which is correct. Kasi our line is increasing, that means our slope should be positive. Next, we have now the intercepts. So when we say intercepts, these are the points along the x and y axis where our straight line intersects. So these are the points of intersection between our straight line and the x and y axis or axis. So our x-intercept is the point where our straight line intersects with the x-axis. So the coordinates of our x-intercept is x and 0. while for our y-intercept, the coordinates would be equal to 0 and y. So let's say we have an example here of intercepts wherein we have a declining line intersecting with the x and y axis. So we have point 1, which is our y-intercept with the coordinates 0 and 2, and our point 2 is our x-intercept with coordinates 4 and 0. So our x-intercept therefore is 4 and our y-intercept is 2. We have now our different equations of straight line, or actually these are called forms of the equations of straight line. So we have four different forms. We have the slope intercept form. Second one is the point slope form. Third, 2-point form. The fourth one is the intercept form. And then we will also be discussing while uh, we will also be including the standard and general equations of straight line while I am discussing the different forms of the equations of straight line. So the first one is the slope intercept form, wherein the form is y equals mx plus b. So again, y equals mx plus b, wherein m is the slope of our line and the b is our y-intercept, or the point where our straight line intersects with the y-axis. So let us have an example of our slope intercept form. So let's say we have a line. As you can see, we have a declining line wherein the value of its slope is -1, and it should be really negative because it is a declining line, and our y-intercept is -1. So that means the coordinates of our point of intersection between the line and the y-intercept is 0, -1. So our y-intercept is -1. And so we have the formula y equals mx plus b. So all you have to do is to simply substitute the values of our m, the slope, and the b, our y-intercept, to our slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b. So there you have it. You will have y equals -1 times x plus -1, and you will have y equals -x minus 1. Okay, so uh, we can take the term with x variable on the left side of our equation. So rearranging our equation, we will be having x plus y equals -1. That will be our standard equation, because our standard equation is an equation wherein our first term is the term with x variable plus the second term with the y variable equals a constant. So you have x plus y equals -1. That is our standard equation. And then we will also have x plus y plus 1 equals 0. So we transpose the constant from the right side of the equation to the left side of the equation, and what will be having on the right side will be equal to 0. So that is now x plus y plus 1 equals 0, and that will be our general equation. So for general equation naman, that is term with x variable plus the second term with y variable plus the constant equals 0. So always remember, in standard equation, constant ang nasa right side. Pag general equation, yung constant nasa left side at ang matitira sa right side ay 0. Okay? Another example would be this. So we have again a declining line. So the value of our slope is equal to negative 1/2. And the point of intersection of our line with the y-axis is 0, 2. The coordinates of the intersection between the straight line and the y-axis is 0, 2. So that means our y-intercept is equal to 2. So we have the equation y equals mx plus b, that is our slope-intercept form. All we have to do is to simply substitute the values of m and the y-intercept to our slope-intercept form. And we will have y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. Now, as you can see here, we have a fraction. We have to make sure, or we have to convert this equation into a single layer equation, meaning wala dapat tayong makikitang denominator. So how do we do that? So we have to multiply both sides or each term sa ating entire equation kung ano yung denominator na nakikita natin. So in this case, we have 2. So that means you have to multiply both sides or multiply all terms of the entire equation with 2. So, pag minultiply natin siya, we will be having 2y equals negative x plus 4. So, each term was multiplied by 2, which is the denominator natin kanina. So, ang nangyari, 2y equals negative x, nawala na kasi yung 2, yung 1/2, plus 2 times 2, 4. Kaya naging 2y equals negative x plus 4. And so, we can transpose negative x on the left side of the equation. We will now have x plus 2y equals 4, and that is our standard equation. And lastly, we can convert that into a general equation. X plus 2y minus 4 equals 0. So that will be our general equation. Our next form is the point slope form. So in this type of form, what we will be having is the given point. The point is along the straight line, and the slope is also given. So we have, for example, we have here a straight line, an increasing line from left to right, and then along the point we have point with coordinates 2 and 3, and then the slope is given. The slope is equal to 1. Now for point slope form, the formula is m equals y minus y1 all over x minus x1. So the x1 and y1 that we are pertaining to this point slope form are the coordinates of our point. That is 2, 3. So that is our x1 and our y1. Now, all we have to do is to simply substitute the values of m, x1, and y1 to the given point slope form. And so we will have 1 equals y minus 3 all over x minus 2. It's because we substitute the values of m, x1, and y1 to our point slope form. And so what we will do now is we have to eliminate our denominator and convert this entire equation into a single layer equation, that is by cross multiplying 1 and x minus 2. So we will multiply both sides of the equation by x minus 2. So for us to get rid or eliminate our denominator. So that means 1 will be multiplied by the denominator x minus 2, that is by cross multiplication. And so we will have x minus 2 equals y minus 3. So we multiplied 1 by x minus 2, and then so for on the left side of our equation we have now x minus 2, on the right side we have y minus 3. And then next thing is we have to put all the terms with variables on the left side and all constants at the right side. And so we will have x minus y equals negative 3 plus 2. So, ang ginawa natin, yung y sa right side, transpose natin sa left side kaya naging minus y. And yung sa right side kaninang negative 2, magiging positive 2 paglipat niya sa right side. Simplifying now our equation, we will have x minus y equals negative 1. So, this will now be our standard equation of the straight line. So, x minus y equals negative 1. And then, we will be having also x minus y plus 1 equals 0. And that is our general equation. So, transpose natin ang negative 1 from right side to the left side of the equation. At ang natira sa right side ay 0. That is our general equation. Next example would be this. A line, which is a decreasing line from left to right. And then we have a point along the straight line to negative 4. So the coordinates of our point along the straight line is 2, negative 4. And the given slope is equal to negative 2. So again, we have the point slope form, m equals y minus 1 all over x minus x1. So all we have to do is to substitute the values of our given slope m, negative 2, and substitute the values of 2 and negative 4 to our x1 and y1 respectively. So we will have now negative 2 equals y minus negative 4 all over x minus 2. So sinubstitute lang natin yung values ng m, y1 at ng x1. So after substituting this, again, same process tulad kanina, we have to eliminate our denominator by cross-multiplying the negative 2 by the denominator x minus 2. And so we will have now negative 2x plus 4 equals y plus 4. So naging isang layer na lang yung entire equation natin. And so again, we will put all the terms on the left side of the equation and constants on the right side of the equation. We will now have negative 2x minus y equals 4 minus 4. So as you can see, what will happen here, we will arrive at the equation negative 2x minus 1 equals 0. This time, negative 2x minus 1 equals 0. This will be our standard equation and as well as our general equation. Kasi yung constant natin ay 0 lang. Okay? So, negative 2x minus y equals 0 is the equation of our line given the point 2, negative 4, and the slope is negative 2. So, we arrive at this equation using the point slope form. Our next form of equation of the straight line we have now is the 2-point form. Again, 2-point form. So, dito naman sa klase ng form na to, we have the straight line. And then the 2 points along that straight line are given. So, let's say we have point 1 and point 2. So, for point 1, we have the coordinates negative 4, negative 1. And for point 2, the coordinates are 1 and 3. So again, these are points along the straight line, not necessarily points or the intercepts wherein our straight line intersects with the x and y axis. Hindi ganon. Basta meron lang 2 points along the straight line, point 1 and point 2. Now, going back to our point slope form, we have the m equals y minus y1 all over x minus x1. This is our point slope form. Dito manggagaling yung formula para sa ating 2.4. And how is that? By simply substituting the value kung ano yung formula ng m natin. Kanina, sa previous slides natin, meron tayong binigay na formula ng slope m, which is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So, isa-substitute lang natin yon para mabuo natin yung 2.4. And then, we will have now our 2-point form, that is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1 equals y minus y1 all over x minus x1. So, mapapansin ninyo, yung m napalitan na ng kanyang formulang y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So, this is now our 2-point form. All of these variables x1, x2, y1, y2 are coordinates of our 2 points, point 1 and point 2. So, for our example now, we have 2 points, point 1 and point 2. Yun nga, no? Therefore, our x1 would be negative 4. Our y1 is negative 1. For our x2, that is coming from point 2, that is 1. And our y2 is equal to 3. Then, by substitution, we will now have 3 minus negative 1 all over 1 minus negative 4 equals y minus negative 1 all over x minus negative 4. So, what we do is sinubstitute natin lahat ng values ng x1, y1, x2, y2 doon sa ating 2-point form or doon sa 2-point form or doon sa formula natin. So, simplifying now, yung pag sinolve na natin siya yung 2-point form, we will have 4 over 5 equals y plus 1 all over x plus 4. Okay? So, this time, ang gagawin natin, meron tayong mga denominators, magko-cross multiplication tayo para mawala yung mga denominators natin for us to have a single layered equation. Okay? So, that means we will multiply 4 by the denominator x plus 4 and then y plus 1 will be multiplied by the denominator 5. And then, we will have now 4 times quantity x plus 4 equals 5 times quantity y plus 1. Simplifying that, we will distribute 4 dun sa quantity x plus 4. We have 4x plus 16. And on the right side of our equation, distribute 5. We have 5y plus 5. And then next step, lahat ng may variable sa left side, lahat ng constant sa right side. So we have 4x minus 5y equals 5 minus 16. And then, we can now have our standard equation of the line that will be 4x minus 5y equals negative 11. That is our standard equation. And our general equation now would be 4x minus 5y plus 11 equals 0 as our general equation. So, ginawa natin from standard equation, yung constant na negative 11, nilipat natin the left side of the equation. So, 0 na lang natira sa right side. Kaya, yun ang ating general equation. 4x minus 5y plus 11 equals 0. The next form is the intercept form. So, in this type of form of the equation of the straight line, we have a straight line and then the two intercepts are given. So, those are the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Now, the intercept form is x over a plus y over b equals 1. So, a here is our x-intercept and b is our y-intercept. So let's say for example, we have here a straight line which is an increasing line from left to right. So our line intersects with the x and y axis. So in our example, the line intersects with our x-axis at -3 and on our y-axis at +4. So those are the two intercepts that we need for us to get the equation of our straight line using the intercept form. And so all we have to do is to simply substitute the x and y intercepts in our intercept form, which is x over a plus y over b equals 1. And so we will have now x over -3 plus y over 4 equals 1. So you just have to substitute the values of a and b to our intercept form. And then, as you can see, we have two denominators. So what we will do is we will multiply both sides of the equation by the denominators. Or, first, you have to multiply the denominators, -3 and 4. And so you have -12. And therefore, you will multiply both sides of the equation with -12. Or we can also say that we will multiply this time each term of the entire equation by -12. And so by doing that, we will now have 4x minus 3y equals -12. So as you can see, nawala na yung mga denominators natin. Kasi nga, minultiply natin yung both sides of the equation, the left and right, or we multiply each term of the entire equation by -12, which is the product of -3 and 4. And on our right side, -12 times 1, kaya -12 yung ating constant sa right side. So it becomes 4x minus 3y equals -12. That is now our standard equation, the standard equation of the line. And again, we can also arrive at our general equation by transposing the constant from the right side of the equation to the left side. We have now 4x minus 3y plus 12 equals 0. So that will give us our general equation. Another example here, we have a declining line, declining straight line, wherein the points of intersection are -2 along the x-axis and -5 along the y-axis. So that means -2 is our x-intercept and -5 is our y-intercept. So -2 is our A and -5 is our B. So all we have to do is to substitute the values of A and B to our intercept form. And then we will have x over -2 plus y over -5 equals 1. And then again, we have two denominators, yung dalawang intercepts natin, the -2 and -5. Now, for us to get rid of our denominators, multiply natin yung mga denominators. -2 times -5 will give us +10. So that means we will multiply both sides of the equation, or we will multiply all terms in our equation by +10. And by doing so, we will have now -5x minus 2y equals 10. Or, kung gusto nyo naman, tanggalin natin yung mga negative signs doon sa left side by multiplying both sides by -1. It is also equal to 5x plus 2y equals -10. And either of these two equations, either of them is our standard equation. And so, by transposing our 10 or yung -10 to the left side of the equation, we will now have negative 5x minus 2y minus 10 equals 0, or by multiplying both sides by negative 1, we will have 5x plus 2y plus 10 equals 0. So, kahit alin dyan sa dalawang yan, yan ang ating magiging general equation. And so, we're done with different forms of the equation of straight line. So let's have a recap before we continue. So the first one, we form a straight line by connecting 2 points. Point 1, which has the coordinates x1 and y1, and point 2, which has the coordinates x2, y2. You simply connect the 2 points and then we form a straight line. And then the slope of the line is positive if it is increasing from left to right, and negative if it is decreasing from left to right. So again, our slope is denoted by m. So kapag positive, positive m. Pag negative, negative m. Okay? The equation of a straight line has different forms. Those are slope-intercept form, point-slope form, two-point form, and intercept form. So these are the four equations in different forms that I discussed a while ago. Okay. A short review of our forms of the equation of the straight line. We have now the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Our m here is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept of the line. We have also the point slope form, that is m equals y minus y1 over x minus x1. M is the slope of the line, straight line. x1 and y1 are the coordinates of the given point that is along the straight line. Next is the two-point form. We have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals y minus y1 all over x minus x1. So all of this x1, x2, y1, y2 are the coordinates of our 2 points, point 1 and point 2. So for point 1, do not imitate x1, y1, and in point 2, those are our x2 and y2. And lastly, we have the intercept form, wherein there are 2 points along, or rather there are 2 intercepts along the line. So the line is intersecting with the x and y axis. So we have x over a plus y over b equals 1, where a is our x-intercept, b is our y-intercept. And just a review of our standard equation, that is ax plus by equals c. That simply means ax is the term with the x variable plus by, that is the term with the y variable, equals the constant term. And for our general equation, we have ax plus by plus c equals 0, or we can say the term with the x variable plus the term with the y variable plus the constant equals 0, and that is our general equation. Let us now solve sample problems related to straight line. Okay, so the first problem would be determine the slope and the y-intercept of the line with an equation 4x minus 2y equals 6. So in our given problem, we are asked to determine the slope and the y-intercept of the line, given that the equation of the line is 4x minus 2y equals 6. As you notice, 4x minus 2y equals 6. That is already in our standard equation of the line. So our target now is to convert that standard equation into a slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Why? Because through that form, slope-intercept form, we can immediately identify the slope of the line and the y-intercept. It's because all we have to do is to take a look at the coefficient of x in our slope-intercept form. That will give us our slope. And just simply looking at the constant, that will give us our y-intercept. So as you can see, we have here a standard equation, 4x minus 2y equals 6. And our target again is to convert this standard equation into slope-intercept form. So how do we do that? We do it by simply transposing the variable terms with the x variable on the right side of the equation from left to right. Okay, and so this becomes now negative 2y equals 4x plus 6. So, na-transpose natin yung term with x variable. So, yung 4x naging negative 4x on the right side. But as you notice, our term with the y variable still has a coefficient. In slope-intercept form, what will remain on the left side of the equation is only y. So in this case, we have negative 2 as the coefficient of y. That means to get rid of it or to eliminate it, we have to divide both sides of the equation or divide all terms in our equation by negative 2. And so we will have now, as you can see here, negative 2y over negative 2 equals negative 4x over negative 2 plus 6 over negative 2. So our negative and on the left side will be cancelled. 2 will be cancelled. So that will just be, it will just become y. And on the right side, negative sign is also cancelled. 4 can be divided by 2. So it becomes 2, simplified as 2. And then we have 6 divided by negative 2, that is negative 3. And to simplify now our equation, we will arrive at y equals 2x minus 3. So y equals 2x minus 3. So as you can see, ang natira na lang sa left side ay y. So we have now a term on the right side of the equation. We have a term with the variable x and then a constant. So the coefficient of our x is 2. That is our slope, our m. So that means our slope is the coefficient of x, that is 2. So our m is equal to 2. And the constant in our slope-intercept form is negative 3. That is our b, the y-intercept. So our y-intercept is equal to negative 3. So again, the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is 3. For the line with the standard equation 4x minus 2y equals 6. Another example here, we have determine the x and y intercepts of the line with an equation 2x plus 3y equals 6. So 2x plus 3y equals 6 is our standard form or standard equation. And as you can still recall, kapag hinahanap ang x and y intercepts, ibig sabihin, ang kailangan, yung standard form natin, it should be converted into intercept form, which is x over a plus y over b equals 1. Why? Since we're looking for x and y intercepts, no other form can show you what are the x and y intercepts na magiging given doon sa ating straight line. No other than the intercept form or wherein makikita yung two intercepts natin, ang x-intercept and y-intercept other than intercept form. So, after converting the standard form into intercept form, we can now identify what will be our A and B or the x-intercept and y-intercept. So again, we have 2x plus 3y equals 6. That is our standard form or standard equation of the line. Now, our target is to first make our constant of our standard form equal to 1. So we can only make this 6 equal to 1 if we divide it by itself, right? So 6 divided by 6 will be equal to 1. In our intercept form, as you can recall, the right side of our intercept form is equal to 1. So that means we have to divide both sides of the equation by 6 or divide all terms by 6. And so we will have now 2x over 6 plus 3y over 6 equals 6 over 6. After dividing all terms by 6, we can simplify this. 2 over 6, so that is 3 at the denominator. 3 over 6, that is 2 at the denominator. And then 6 divided by 6 can be simplified as 1. And then we will have now x over 3 plus y over 2 equals 1. So we arrived now at our intercept form. X over 3 plus y over 2 equals 1. And so, simply identifying what will be our a and b. Our a is simply the denominator of our term with x variable, so that is 3. And our b is the denominator of y, which is 2. So that means our x-intercept is 3 and our y-intercept is 2. So the straight line with a standard equation of 2x plus 3y equals 6 has x has two intercepts, the x-intercept which is 3 and the y-intercept equal to 2.